Galaxy had never seen anyone like her. She was called the prototype, a being created to be perfect in every way, faster than a starship, stronger than the hardest metal, and smarter than the oldest civilizations. Everywhere she went, beings laughed at the idea that any human could challenge her, yet she did not care. She smiled, her eyes glowing faintly, and spoke with a voice that echoed across the interstellar arena. "I will marry any human who can beat me." Many had tried before. Humans who thought they were brave, humans who thought they were clever. None had survived the first challenge. Their failures were whispered across planets, warnings to anyone who dared. But now, someone new had come, a human whose name was spreading like fire through the stars. Stories told of his courage, his skill, his determination, and even though he seemed ordinary at first glance, there was something about him that made even the prototype pause. The arena was massive, a sphere of light and shadow, filled with spectators from hundreds of worlds, aliens with strange shapes and colors, humans from distant planets, all watching, waiting. Their breaths held. She floated above the ground, arms crossed, watching challengers enter and fall. Their fear was easy to see, their hesitation easy to predict. She laughed softly, a sound that made the crowd shiver, but also made them lean forward in fascination. And then, from the far side of the arena, he appeared. The human they had all whispered about, walking slowly, calmly, with no fear in his eyes. His posture simple, but his presence filled the space. She tilted her head, curiosity rising. "Do you really think you can beat me?" she asked, her voice both teasing and challenging. "I will try," he said, his voice firm, steady, calm. The crowd gasped, some in disbelief, others in hope. The prototype smiled, intrigued. It had been a long time since anyone spoke to her. Without fear, he stepped closer, watching her movements carefully, studying every glance, every flick of her wrist. He did not attack, not yet, but the air around him seemed to shift, a tension that made even the strongest aliens quiet. The prototype's laugh echoed again, but this time it was different, softer, filled with genuine interest. "You may be the first human who is not afraid," she said, and for the first time, she felt something unusual, a spark of excitement. The arena waited, time seemed to slow, every eye was on the two of them, and the galaxy held its breath, knowing that what was about to happen could change everything. He stood tall, humble but ready, and she hovered above him, confident but curious, two forces, different yet connected, about to clash in a test of strength, intelligence, and heart. And as the first light of the arena shimmered around them, the prototype whispered, almost to herself, "Let the challenge begin." The game had started. The galaxy watched, and no one could predict what would happen next. The arena doors closed with a deep rumble, sealing them inside. Light flashed across the floor, making the shadows dance. The crowd gasped as the prototype lifted into the air, her movements fast, smooth, almost impossible to follow. She raised her hands, and the ground trembled beneath her. Rocks floated around her like tiny moons, suspended by some invisible force, each one ready to strike at a moment's notice. He did not flinch, his eyes calm, scanning the moving rocks, watching her every gesture. He breathed slowly, carefully, preparing for what was coming. The prototype smiled, impressed that he did not panic. Most humans would have frozen. Most would have run, but not him. He moved like a river, flowing around danger, steady and clever. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, she lunged, faster than light, or so it seemed. The force behind her strike could have crushed a starship. Yet he dodged, twisting his body, landing lightly. Not a single bead of sweat showing fear. The crowd erupted in whispers, some gasping, some cheering. Impossible. How can a human move like that? Aliens tilted their heads, confused. Humans held their breath, eyes wide. She laughed, the sound ringing like silver. "Interesting," she said, circling him, testing, poking, prodding, every strike, every kick, every movement designed to push him to his limit. He counted carefully, not attacking recklessly, using the floating rocks, the shadows, even her own speed against her. Each move precise, clever, showing skill that could only come from a lifetime of training. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Sweat and energy filled the air. The spectators could feel the tension, their hearts racing with every dodge, every feint, every block. The prototype paused for a moment, hovering, intrigued. "You are different," she admitted, her voice soft, almost human. She had never seen anyone fight like this before, never anyone so calm under pressure. He did not answer with words, only a nod, his focus never leaving her, his body moving instinctively, his mind calculating each possibility, each outcome. The prototype's attacks grew fiercer, faster, more unpredictable. She tested every trick, every skill she knew, even bending gravity, creating illusions that made the ground shift, the air spin. Still, he adapted, moving through every challenge, his mind sharp, his body steady. She could feel something stirring inside her, something she had not felt before. Curiosity, excitement, admiration. The crowd could barely breathe, eyes glued to the spectacle. Aliens whispered among themselves, no human should survive this. Yet here he was, standing, moving, surviving, thriving. Finally, she stopped, hovering, inches above him, breathing lightly, a small smile on her lips. "You are not like the others?" she said, her glowing eyes studying him closely. He looked up at her, calm. "I am human," he replied simply, almost humbly, "and I will not give up." For the first time, she felt real interest, not in winning, not in proving herself, but in him, the human who faced her laughter, the human who did not run, the human who dared to stand. The arena was silent for a moment, the galaxy holding its breath. The challenge was far from over, but one thing was clear: he had already surprised her. The game had changed, and so had she, and as she prepared her next move, the crowd waited, hearts pounding, wondering if anyone could ever defeat the prototype. The prototype hovered above the arena, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. She had seen strength before, but this human was not just strong, he was clever, focused, calm. She decided it was time for a new challenge, not of speed, not of strength, but of mind. With a wave of her hand, the arena shifted. The floor rippled like water, walls bent in strange ways, shadows twisted into impossible shapes. The crowd gasped as the space seemed to change. Time and gravity no longer behaved as expected. Objects floated, paths disappeared, and strange visions appeared before their eyes. Aliens leaned forward, humans held their breath. "Think carefully," she whispered, her voice echoing through the arena. "Many have fallen here before." He did not hesitate. He moved slowly, carefully, navigating the shifting arena, avoiding traps that could crush him, drown him, or trap him forever. His eyes sharp, mind faster than even she had anticipated. She created illusions next, images of loved ones, whispers of fear, voices calling him to turn back, visions of the arena collapsing, but he ignored them, keeping his focus, moving steadily through the chaos. "Who are you, human?" Clea asked, floating in front of him, curiosity in her tone. "I am simply someone who believes in humanity," he said. Eyes forward, voice calm. "I fight for hope, for courage, for everyone." Her eyes widened. No one had ever answered her like that before. Not challengers, not kings, not warriors, not even the strongest beings in the galaxy. She smiled, a small, real smile, something she rarely did, something even the universe had never seen. Then, she created her toughest test yet. The arena became a labyrinth, walls twisting, pathways disappearing, illusions that seemed real, danger that could strike at any moment. Many humans would have panicked, fallen, or given up, but he walked forward steadily, observing, thinking, calculating every step, his mind a weapon as strong as any sword or shield. She tried to confuse him further, changing the illusions faster than thought, bending light, twisting reality. Yet he adapted, finding patterns, seeing through the tricks, moving as if he had known the arena for years. The crowd was silent now, completely absorbed, watching this human move through impossible trials, eyes wide with wonder, aliens whispering in disbelief. No one should survive this, but he did. He reached the center of the labyrinth, standing tall, calm, unshaken. She hovered above him, studying him, her glowing eyes reflecting awe. "You are not like any human I have faced," she admitted, voice softer now, curiosity fully replacing her laughter. He looked up, sweat on his brow, but his expression steady. "I believe in humanity," he said again, simple words that carried more power than any weapon. For the first time, she realized the challenge was not just about power, not about speed, not about skill. but about heart, courage, and belief. Qualities she had never fully understood. The arena fell quiet, the galaxy holding its breath, waiting for what she would do next. And as she floated above him, eyes glowing, lips curved in a small smile, she whispered, "Perhaps this human is different. Perhaps he is what I have been waiting for." The game was far from over, but the balance had shifted. The human had proven more than strength. He had shown wisdom, patience, and an unshakable heart. And somewhere deep inside, the prototype felt something stir, a new feeling, something she could not yet name. The arena waited, the crowd watched, and the next test would reveal more than anyone could imagine. The prototype hovered above the arena, watching him carefully. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever, curiosity and intrigue filling her gaze. She had tested his strength and his mind, but now she would test his heart. With a wave of her hand, the arena transformed once again. This time, it became a vision of choice. Shadows and illusions of innocent lives appeared, trapped and in danger. Only he could save them. The crowd gasped, their eyes wide. Aliens whispered nervously. Humans held their breath. "You can win if you focus on defeating me," the prototype said softly, her voice almost gentle. "Or you can save them and risk losing." He looked around, seeing the illusions, his heart steady. He could feel the pressure, the weight of choice, the eyes of the galaxy upon him. But he did not hesitate. He moved immediately to help the trapped innocents, carefully guiding them to safety, dodging obstacles and attacks, ignoring the chance to strike her, to claim victory. She watched in shock, hovering, her hands still, her glowing eyes widened. No human had ever acted this way. Most would have fought for themselves. Most would have ignored the weak to win. He freed every illusion, every trapped being, stepping carefully but quickly. The crowd held their breath as time seemed to stretch, every second charged with tension. Finally, he stood tall, all innocence safe, his chest heaving, sweat on his brow, but his eyes steady, calm, unwavering. The prototype descended slowly, circling him, her curiosity turning to awe. You chose them over victory," she whispered, almost to herself. Her voice carried something she had never spoken before. Admiration, respect, even something deeper. "I fight not for myself, but for humanity," he said, his voice clear, firm and sincere. "For courage, for hope, for everyone who cannot fight." For the first time, the prototype felt a new emotion, something that stirred inside her, something she could not name, the fire of admiration, the spark of respect, even something like fascination. She floated closer, examining him, the human who had defied her in strength, in mind, and now in heart. "You are unlike anyone I have ever faced," she said softly, her usual arrogance gone, replaced by wonder. The arena was silent, even the wind seemed to stop. The galaxy watched, the crowd frozen in anticipation. Something extraordinary had happened, something no one had expected. He had proven more than skill, more than strength, more than cleverness. He had proven the true essence of humanity, bravery, compassion, and selflessness. She tilted her head, a faint smile forming. Perhaps the stories were true," she whispered. "Perhaps humans are capable of more than I imagined." The human looked up at her, humble but proud, sweat and dirt on his face, yet his spirit shining brighter than any star. And as the shadows of the arena shifted around them, the prototype realized that the game had changed. The balance was no longer only in her favor. The galaxy waited, holding its breath, knowing that the final test would soon come, and it would decide not only the victor, but the fate of both the human and the prototype. The arena was silent, every eye fixed on the human and the prototype. The galaxy waited, holding its breath. The moment had come to decide the victor. She hovered above him, her glowing eyes studying every movement. She could have ended it in a blink, could have crushed him, could have proven once again that she was untouchable, but she did not. Instead, she descended slowly, lowering her guard, her curiosity and admiration now stronger than her pride. "You have proven yourself," she said, her voice soft, almost warm. "No human has ever faced me like this. No one has ever shown strength, wisdom, and heart like you." He looked up at her, exhausted but steady, sweat on his brow, dirt on his face, yet his spirit burned bright, calm and proud. The crowd erupted in cheers, aliens and humans alike, celebrating this extraordinary moment. The impossible had happened. A human had faced the prototype and survived. But more than that, he had earned her respect. She extended her hand, a gesture she had never made before. I said I would marry any human who beats me. And now, I see why, she said, her smile genuine, almost gentle. He took her hand, bowing slightly, humility and honor shining in his eyes. The arena glowed with light, hope, and excitement. The galaxy would remember this day forever. For the first time, the prototype felt something she could not explain. Something beyond curiosity, beyond pride, something close to admiration, perhaps even affection. The crowd cheered louder, some crying, some laughing, all in awe. Humans had triumphed, not just in strength or skill, but in heart, courage, and humanity itself. She floated closer, studying him. "You are different," she whispered. "You are the human I have been waiting for." He smiled, still catching his breath. "I'm just a human," he said simply, "but we can be stronger together." The prototype's laughter rang softly, not mockery, but delight. The galaxy watched as two beings, different yet connected, formed a bond that would echo across worlds. She lowered herself beside him. The arena filled with light and energy, a symbol of hope, courage, and the triumph of humanity. The spectators understood. This was not just a victory of one human, but of humanity itself. A reminder that strength was not only in power, but in heart, mind, and courage. And as the stars shone brighter over the arena, the prototype and the humans stood together, hands joined, eyes forward, ready to face the future. The impossible had been achieved. The human had faced the prototype, survived, won, and in doing so, changed the galaxy forever. The story of this day would travel to every corner of the universe, inspiring humans and aliens alike, that even against the perfect, humanity's courage, intelligence, and heart could triumph. And as the arena faded into light, the galaxy whispered a truth it would never forget. The human had not only won, he had become a symbol of hope, a champion not just of himself, but of all humanity. The prototype smiled, a rare, real smile, as she looked at him. And the universe understood. Some challenges are not about defeating others, but discovering who can rise above. And the bond they shared, born of trials, courage, and heart, would be remembered for eternity.